Get this television. Okay, and I got a bright light. Which one is it? Is it that light here?
Oh, I thought it was gonna be surprised when we walked in. Elvis, you don't like the theatrics?
Okay, what is this doing? What is this big light right here? Is that this one? No, it's not this one. What the heck is
It
that
has to
coming
be
from?
that. It has to be that one. It can't be any light but that one. It has to be that one.
Yeah, but look, it's still right where his chin is
All right,
at.
turn that light completely off.
Let me see.
It has to be that one.
Let's
I never
lower it
reckon.
again a little bit more.
Uh,
Right
keep
there.
it, dim that light, dim it more. Against the wall, right when you walk in the door, there's a dimmer.
When you walk in the
That,
door.
yeah.
Huh.
Is that right?
That's so weird. Oh, it's coming from across the street, dude.
Oh.
That's a light from across the
Oh, it's a
street.
reflection.
Yeah, it's a reflection from that building, I think, or one of those street
Yeah,
lights.
street lights. Yeah.
And you're in the penthouse. All right. I'm Big Elvis the Chef Rosenberg. I'm here. And what we're gonna do is play a quick clip and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna discuss this clip. It's only about a minute long. This is Hotep Jesus.
Everything my end.
Hotep Jesus is critiquing Matt Walsh. And this is what Matt Walsh had to say.
Ancestors did and everything did to them because
go
if
back
any
a
of
little
that
bit?
had not happened, there's a very good chance that I never would have come into being. And as I see it, I benefit from being if the other option is not being.
Yeah, tap it a little bit.
All right, so
Well, you can always just do this. Look, dang. I got it.
let me read
All right, here we go. This is perfect.
some promo. All right, let's go back. All right, so you watched that video. Let's go to the video I told you going to give some texture here. Let's play this video.
What just happened? No, you went forward.
Significant would likely shift the course of events in a way that would mean none of us would even exist. It looks like right now. Actually, what we can say is that we all end up worse. All of us, for the sake of the grift, here we go. Day would end up worse or better in this alternate universe. I mean, if you go back in time and get rid of slavery from the entire world, you have just, it's impossible to say what the world looks like right now. Actually, what we can say is that we all end up worse. All of us today would be in a worse spot if slavery never existed at all across the entire globe. Because a change that significant would likely shift the course of events in a way that would mean none of us would even exist. It would be a world full of other people who are not us. So I know that I benefit today from virtually everything my ancestors did and everything did to them, because if any of that had not happened, there's a very good chance that I never would have come into being. And as I see it, I benefit from being if the other option is not being. All right, so...
All right.
Oh.
You guys need to hear this again?
No.
All right. All right. Hotep Jesus, y'all. Okay, I'll stand this way and you can go on the other side. Daniel, rock
Then
the
you gotta
middle.
be in the middle. Then you gotta be in the middle.
Okay. Oh, I like this. Let me
This
see.
works. If I stand here, it's weird. Yeah, so don't think I'm running. I'm trying to run up on you. It's just comfort standing like this. So good.
Okay, so we have a guy named Matt Walsh who got really popular with his documentary, What is a Woman? And he went all over the place asking the question, what is a woman? And since then, he is doing really well on these YouTube streets. He is doing well on the, I think, even Spotify streets.
He's doing excellent everywhere. He
yeah.
works for the Daily Wire currently.
Yeah, he's currently working for the Daily Wire.
Under Ben Shapiro. Yeah.
Right, and are you, it seems like you're very well aware of Matt Walsh.
I know Matt Walsh very well.
Okay.
Very well. Very
and,
well.
and Daniel, do you are you
Never heard of
Daniel B? He's never heard of him. Okay, so see, these are the people that are running these. They running the internet streets, not running the They're not running on the like Fox and CNN. They're not from that cloth. They're from the ether.
Matt Walsh is kind of so Ben Shapiro is kind of one of the new conservative godfathers in a weird way.
Right.
So he's kind of one of the kingmakers when it comes to new internet, especially, or new popular conservatives, if they get a sign up from Ben Shapiro, they're made. Matt Walsh is one of those people.
He got the cosign.
Yeah. He works for the Daily Wire. This video was presented by the Daily Wire, which is Ben Shapiro's what's it called? What do you call it? It's not syndication. It's something when you run it when you run a newspaper. Anyway,
Right.
Anyway, continue.
Well, let me just say this. Here's the question I have. Matt Walsh said something very understandable when he started. He said that if we were to eliminate slavery on a worldwide scale, I don't think that we would have the world we have today. And then he says, and if my ancestors didn't do what they did, that I found to be,
All right. So all right. You keep going before I go.
So I would like to let Ulrich go first. But the question is, Matt Walsh says that if his parents, see, at first he was worldwide. Then he says, if my grandparents or my great grands didn't do what they did, then I wouldn't have the life that I. Wait, let's hear it again. Let's hear it one more time. Let's hear it one more time. Let's hear it one more time.
You want to clarify? Because
let's hear it. Because I don't want to paraphrase if I don't have to.
Go ahead.
Oh, let me retweet.
We got to go back a little bit. I need
Let's
to
go
go.
back. All right, so you watched that video. Let's go to the video. Very good chance that I never would have come into being.
Also, thank y'all for being here and being patient with us in the
Because
comments.
it changed
How you
that
doing,
of
LJ?
the entire world.
I'm happy out here, first and foremost.
And then we're going to come back and we're going to go through the video slowly. Fair use. Hopefully nothing crazy happens with the channel by playing this video.
I hope not neither. This is fair use, YouTube. Come on. We're doing like a whole analysis here.
Worse or better in this alternate universe. I mean, if you go back in time and get rid of slavery from the entire world, you have just, it's impossible to say what the world looks like right now. Actually, what we can say is that we all end up worse. All of us today would be in a worse spot if slavery never existed at all across the entire globe. Because a change that significant would likely shift the course of events in a way that would mean none of us would even exist. It would be a world full of other people who are not us. So I know that I benefit today from virtually everything my ancestors did and everything did to them, because if any of that had not happened, there's a very good chance that I never would have come into being. And as I see it, I benefit from being if the other option is not being.
All right.
So
So you paraphrase his argument a little bit. Yeah.
All right. Daniel B, please. All right. So, what I would like Daniel to go first because you're so
Okay.
anxious. I want to bring you down a little bit.
Go ahead.
Wait. Maybe should we let Ulrich go first? I want you to go first. Ulrich.
Okay. So the first thing so Hotep Jesus, we didn't listen to what he fully said in this video and what his full opinion.
We
was.
don't care about what Hotep Jesus has to say.
This
is about only what Matt Walsh has to say.
So his point is that the world would be different if slavery didn't exist. That I don't even know how that's refutable.
Right.
Now, if the argument is asking if it would be a better world, that I don't even. If the
It's
world,
not even an argument.
That's not.
The argument is he would not exist.
Yeah, the argument he would not exist.
How selfish is this son of a bitch? But sorry, my bad. Let me
bring
that back.
Listen. No matter how the world, I love myself. Right. I like how I was made. I don't want, no matter how, I can be a lot. I can be no. What I'm saying is, I'm not. I like who I am. I like my personality. I like how my mind works. If I was to put, if the world would change and I was somehow more responsible, better able to take advantage of this world, where I can be more successful, I wouldn't want to be in a world like that because it wouldn't have my mind. And I'm happy with what I have, what was given to me. I'm happy with that. And what he's saying is he's happy that he is himself, and he's happy to be himself. I don't know if it's based on his success. I don't know if it's based on just that he likes himself personally, because I'm happy I'm happy. I wouldn't want history to change in which history would change me, right? and you know. So what Matt Walsh said is absolutely is irrefutable. It's not even something that to be argued. Now, the reason I wanted to start with Hotep Jesus is because Hotep Jesus, his energy just from watching this video is clear. His energy from talking about
We're not talking about Hotep Jesus.
The Matt Walsh said is not even an argument. That's
It
not
is an argument.
What's the argument?
I would argue that why are we even talking about this? What is the point in even talking? Matter of fact, I'm gonna wait. Daniel, what do you think? We're not talking about Hotep Jesus at all. We're talking about Matt Walsh said that slavery, if it was taken away in a worldwide existence, he would not exist as he does today.
Can I continue briefly?
Yeah.
Can I continue briefly then?
Yeah.
So slavery, how it's used currently and today, is slavery is leverage for everything else, but to further or to further the placement of people of or descendants of slave. Slavery is kind of used and reused just to get us to do anything that would be positive or productive for, I guess, black people. Even though when we're talking about slavery, we shouldn't be talking about descendants of slaves, but that's neither here nor there. But so when slavery is even brought up in any single manner, slavery is meant to be salacious. Slavery is meant to be controversial. Slavery is meant to incite. Slavery is now used as a trolling tool.
Right.
So when slavery is brought up, it's used to troll.
Right.
So that being said, Matt Walsh's interpretation of slavery was probably brought up as Matt Walsh, and I watched a lot of videos about what Matt Walsh says. Matt Walsh, and one of his biggest subject matters is the kind of transgender question, and Matt Walsh is really against childhood transitioning. That's probably his biggest thing, and that's probably his most controversial thing.
Right.
But he broaches subjects like slavery and race and how race is leveraged. Now, how Matt Walsh talks about race, he talks about it in how race is leveraged. So when he's talking about slavery, when he talks about slavery, he's talking it to be. And now this is going to sound controversial, but he talks about slavery in the way he does to be reductive about how slavery is used.
What do you mean by reductive?
Reductive in order to reduce the power it has, to look at slavery in a vacuum. So, in other words,
He's trying to reduce the power of that conversation of slavery. The conversation of slavery.
By the term of slavery. So when slavery is used, right. And now Matt Walsh is a conservative. Matt Walsh, everything he talks about is vehemently against kind of things that go towards the left. What the left does with things like slavery, with things like the civil rights movement, with things like anything that has to do with race, they use it to leverage and use it for their personal gain, the left's personal gain. How he talks about how Matt Walsh talks about slavery when he talks about bigger topics like this, he's being reductive in a way where him being a white person being reductive is probably not going to be that productive because he's not going to convince a lot of people. But what he's saying, that doesn't mean what he's saying is not true. In other words, when he's using slavery, he's talking about slavery. It's not used slavery, evil, white, black, evil. He's trying to say what happened. He's trying to talk about slavery and kind of in a way that makes you look at slavery as a whole and what the fruits that we bore from slavery.
All right. Kevin.
Yeah, but I do need to finish it just to clarify. Mm-hmm. So when he's talking about slavery, his whole point in speaking about slavery is to be reductive in order to reduce the power of slavery that other parties use in order to leverage slavery. So I'm not saying that it almost sounds like I'm being in a roundabout way trying to defend his callous description of slavery, but all he said about slavery is that slavery, we talk about slavery as we speak about slavery as something that every civilization need benefit from. Now, that's not to say slavery was positive anyway, because slavery is only positive to the oppressors or the people who leverage slavery. Currently, the people who leverage slavery is not slave masters. Currently, people who leverage slavery
The banks.
are the banks.
The banks that made all those money. The banks are the ones that made all the money off of the slavery. Tons of banks. You know, look at let's go with a simple one like the Barclays. Look at all the monies that the Barclays have made. Look at all the money that Kraft Foods has made. Reynolds Wrap, the aluminum company, has made off of slavery. But let Daniel talk first.
He's itching to go.
So no, I mean it's more of I don't understand. You may have more information about this Matt guy. I'm only going based on that clip that we just seen.
Right.
Got you.
Which is unfortunate. But go ahead.
No, it's very fortunate. Because I don't ever want to know anything more about the man.
So why learn? Why learn? Why?
I'm not.
Learning is evil. Learning is oppression. Learning is white supremacy. Learning is white supremacy.
I don't need to feel what the colonizers feel. I don't need to.
But let me just say this: in Premium Black News, I think Matt Walsh will come up again. But go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll just look at that clip.
Yeah,
I don't need to do research on him. I don't need to. He doesn't. He's not worth that bandwidth. Anyway, so what he said is the voice of someone who's never had enslaved people in his generations. Like you said, it's selfish for him to sit there and say, the world is great now. I wouldn't be who I am now if it wasn't for slavery and what my ancestors did.
Right.
It's easy for him to say that because he's successful.
He never said the world is great now. That's what you see.
No, he's saying
He's saying he wouldn't change his life, and his life would if slavery never exists, all our lives would be completely different.
Of course,
that's
but to me, my thing is this. Okay, so this is my thing. If I wouldn't exist because slavery didn't exist, I'm okay with that. You're trying to say because my thing is you're saying I'm okay. I'm not okay with millions of people going through something.
What a martyr!
No, it's not a martyr.
What a martyr you are!
Let Daniel finish, please.
It's just saying. Millions of people have suffered. Families have suffered just so I could be this person that I am now, still suffering somewhat. Hold on.
All right.
It's a shame that we feel that way. Like, it's like saying, example I'm going to use is.
Sorry, I was trying to get the shadow off your hands.
A whole bunch of people say, I want my kids to learn the hood and also, the suburbs. Like, I want them to go to the hood because, suburban kids, a lot of black families. Well, let me just say the black families that I know. Right. Some of them feel like, hey, you know what? I want to, get them tough, get them rough, let them learn what the hood is like so they can navigate it. I'm like, why do we need to know that? My biggest thing is I want my kids to never have to see that. That's the whole point of making it to me, like where you don't have to see that. But to say that is just to say the example of without slavery, that's millions and millions of people who really get to fulfill their lives and dreams without being oppressed. So just to say that. Arguably. And, well, at least not oppressed in slavery.
But you're talking about what he said in the beginning, the worldwide slavery thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
let me.
And just to say, okay,
continue.
The way he came about. Well, what I got from what he said is, he's in a position. It's easy for you to. It's easy when you're not oppressed or haven't had parents or grandparents that's been enslaved to sit there and make the comment he made.
Well, I don't know.
For me, I'll make that same comment. And my family, I'll make it. I'll make what it once again. His comment is nothing he said was irrational. The fact that you don't like that is coming out of a white person's mouth.
No,
that has nothing to do with the content. That has nothing to do with what he's saying.
Let me say this. I thought about what you said last week, even though I did put that show on private, because of my early rant. I said, let me put that on private. And I'll do some clips from that show. But you said something interesting last week. You were saying that we are so separated. We're so separated from slavery. And then I had mentioned that my wife, her grandmother, her great grandmother, who she was really close with up until she passed when my wife was in her 20s and early 20s. If she was part of chattel slavery, and then we also, like Daniel and I, we suffer from the redlining. But what a lot of people don't know is that Daniel and I's grandmother was a slave, born a slave, and she was a slave by the Dutch, and she was born a slave, and my grandfather, he actually bought her back from the slave owners, right? So we know we're really close to slavery.
You're still not close to slavery.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
still not close
Yes,
to slavery.
even if my grandmother was
you're
a
still
slave.
not close. You're talking about anecdotally. You're close to slavery.
Okay,
So
let
if
me
I'm
just
not-
say
that-
this.
that's
Let me
that's
say-
like if I have a grandmother that had it was part of the Holocaust, and she told me, and she was my maybe say a great grandmother,
Right.
and she told me a story about the Holocaust, and I said, and somebody makes a joke about Jews, and somehow I feel like I know more because my grandma told me a story one time. That means absolutely nothing, and I think we need to stop doing that stuff.
Okay,
Okay,
well,
that's a
stop
good
that
opinion
stuff.
to have.
We need
Can I
stop
just
doing
say-
that stuff.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Let me finish my thought, right? So, I look at Matt Walsh as a prick by saying what he said, because he feels bought and paid for. He feels like these are talking points that you are saying it's to bring the slavery down as the topic of discussion and controlling everything that we do in our lives, right? The problem is that slavery was not long ago in this country. Not very long ago, slavery existed in this country, and we're still seeing all the effects of slavery.
Media is echoing and reverberating the effects, so you never forget that you were a slave one day, and so you feel like a slave,
I don't watch
and so you
media.
feel less than
I
a
don't-
white person. That's a
no,
reverberation.
I don't
so
feel
you
like
walk
that.
down the street and feel slavery.
I don't feel
you
like
walk
that.
down the street and feel less
No,
as a black
I
man.
don't feel like
All right.
that. But I do recognize that slavery was just around the corner. It's nothing that's far away in the past that we have to, because let me tell you, you referred to Daniel B as a martyr by saying that if he had an opportunity to end slavery and his existence change,
I was being sarcastic.
I would
Yeah.
actually agree with that statement. I would be this martyr that you jokingly in jest said. You in jest said that we're being martyrs by saying that, but I will tell you 100% that I would like to have seen a grandmother who wasn't born into slavery, because my grandmother was a very horrible, evil person to all 9 of her children. Okay? We're talking about like very, very bad, but she was dealing with her trauma, and she was dealing with all the stuff that she went through, and she couldn't be the lineage that her family would have needed to move forward in life. She couldn't have been that pillar of substance. And then the grandfather that we have, this is a man, black skin, right? This same height as Daniel, actually looks like Daniel, but with a meaner, more rugged look. Spoke Italian and worked for the Teamsters. So he was speaking Italian, working for the Teamsters at a time when none of that stuff was possible.
Those are the Teamsters are the people who worked on the they were the what's it called workers, the union workers.
Union workers, yeah. Like my grandfather was there 2 days ago. Or well, my grandfather was there yesterday in 1973. Yesterday in 1973, the Twin Towers went up. My grandfather was the one who laid the tracks and was in charge of making sure the trains can flow underneath that World Trade Center. That was the grandfather that Daniel and I have. And this is a great man. And this great man, Daniel and I know very little about, because they were taught not to speak on certain things. And Matt Walsh, his history, they were taught to speak on certain things. They were taught to praise things. We, you included, Daniel B and myself, our family, we barely have a clue as to what they went through. We barely have a clue as to their lives and their history and their lineage. We're totally affected by slavery at all turns, from not knowing anything about our past.
I know about my past.
You know about one side of your past.
I don't know about my dad, but I don't feel like I'm missing something.
No. Okay, you might not feel that you're missing something, but most people will be in therapy for what you're going through. And you and I talk, we're friends. We've been friends for a lot of years. Let's not play that game. Been friends for a lot of years, and I know you real tough and you real strong, and you do your push-ups, and it don't bother you that you know nothing about your father. But let me tell you something: another person wouldn't be able to handle that. You okay with that? You okay? I get it. You're okay. You don't need to
But
know
do you
about
think
your
it's
family.
all right? Okay.
Matt
I got a
Walsh
question
has
for
a
you.
book.
I got a question.
Let me tell
okay,
you
go
something.
ahead.
Matt Walsh has a book with a tree. And in this tree, he tells him everything that he needs to know about his family. There's no way in the world he would change anything knowing all that shit that he knows.
Yeah, but
No way.
that's why I mentioned myself earlier and saying I wouldn't change anything. I don't have a great life. I don't know. I never met my dad ever. I never met my dad. I have no idea where he's even from. He could be Jamaican. I know he's some sort of black, right? But I would never want to change something about history in some way in order to change myself.
This is not talking about changing history.
To go back to, but there was an important thing that you said when you said about when you talked about how you would be martyrs personally. So you would be a martyr. You would be a martyr if there was a world absent of evil. A world absent of evil is absent of good.
I never said absent of evil. We said absent of slavery.
Big difference.
Okay? There's still always evil. There's still, when David came out of that lion's den, right? He became king. And what did he, who?
Wasn't it Daniel in the lion's den?
David went into the lion's den. Became king. And after he became king, what did he do? Some sucker shit. He put the woman that he wanted to have, her husband, on the front line. So evil exists. It don't have to be slavery.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, but I'm giving an example of it. You're saying if the world would be good, black people would be happy. If that
I never said that. I never said that.
What are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is that...
And slavery, and remember, slavery is all slavery happened to almost everybody.
But what we're saying is...
It did.
Slavery...
No, speak for yourself. Don't speak
for
us.
So what I'm saying is slavery in a whole is nothing to do with black. It has nothing to do with... It's just...
No. Slavery has everything to do with black. Slavery in today's day and age only has to do with black. When you talk about slavery, the only thing that comes in your head is black. That's why only black people can be the ones talking about... He's a white man talking about slavery. Why can't he talk about slavery? Why can't that guy talk about slavery? Why did you have an issue? No. Why did you have an issue? Why did you have an issue of him describing slavery and saying slavery?
Because he believed that he would not exist unless there was slavery. Who can say that? Did you not watch the Back to the Future movie? Did you not watch the Back to the Future? Did you not watch Terminator? Did you not watch When Time Cop? You can't. Let me say this. You can't change the past. You can't change the past.
This is what happened. This is why they woke us, and this is how they control black people.
Tell me.
Because every time you bring up slavery,
right,
logic leaves the argument for black people.
Why? How am I being not logical?
So why when you talk about the Holocaust, it leaves the same effect? Let me say something to you. Why do you think you see Schindler's List and everything else? Because they want you not to forget what happened. Why are we constantly trying to forget?
I agree. No, that's the argument I'm making.
Why are we constantly trying not to remember slavery?
No. Nobody's
You know what slavery shows me? It shows me that I am privileged, that what my family went through and constantly is still going through. That is
it shows you that you're privileged, and why you always talk like you're oppressed? I don't understand.
Because you can still be oppressed and still feel privileged. You know what you have, yes.
What kind of?
Because I can feel privileged doesn't mean other people give me
that
privilege.
No. Do you feel like you're oppressed, or you feel like you're privileged?
Because I'm educated in what I know about us and what my people have done, I feel very privileged and proud.
Okay, so
you
don't feel oppressed.
No, but I still am oppressed.
So how are you being oppressed? Who's oppressing you then? Who's oppressing you?
I'm being oppressed by the media. I'm being oppressed by the president. I'm being oppressed by a lot of different factors in it.
So this is where we need to tell a line, and this is how we start to get a line. So just by the fact of you being black, even though you have not been, you talk about you lived a life in privilege, you still feel oppressed as a black person. Yes. And that's not knowledge. That's the opposite. That's a curse. That's a curse that's being put on you. That's right. The feeling that you feel that you have all these advantages, all these oppression. You have not oppression. All these advantages. You're successful. This is a nice apartment. This is a nice. What I'm saying is, you still feel oppressed.
Yes.
Somehow. So let's think. The fact that you feel oppressed. What does that say? Even though, so that means you live like a I don't want to be sexist, but this how you cannot feel simultaneously contradictory things as a male. It be masculine. Simultaneously contradictory things. That's a female thing to feel.
Okay. Or so if I say this, or I'm gonna give you a house, I'm gonna give you the best job you've ever had. I'm gonna give you everything you want, but it can only be in this small area. You cannot leave this area.
Is this a primarily black area?
No.
Oh, so how are you in this area?
No. I'm just saying.
How did you overcome?
No.
All the black people that overcome need to
What do you
are the ones
consider
that think that black people
Wait,
can't overcome.
What do you feel is overcome?
Oh, maybe they have to fit a quota to get down here.
For real? No, seriously,
Yeah,
there's limited amount of people that live in my town.
But the point I'm making.
No.
You have a cloud of oppression over you no matter how much success you have, and that's the same thing they do with slavery. Slavery is a cloud of oppression that's put over you no matter how far apart you are. Now, what Matt Walsh said, now I can understand you saying he's a prick, because that's a dickish. That's dickish in so much as he's a successful person. But people connect. You have a grandmother that was slave in a successful position. So slavery did not.
What do you consider success, and how hard?
Slavery did not.
Hold on a second. How hard did I have to work? If somebody.
How do you know how hard you work compared to how hard you work? No one knows, but you assume that you're black. You had to jump over.
No, it's just that I still have to overcome these things.
What are you overcoming? Tell me what you're overcoming. Walk me through your day.
Perfect example. You see that train right there? That's the Metro North, right?
Yeah.
I've actually sat in on a busy time, and as you know, there's a lot of white people that take this Metro North. I'm one of the very few that take the Metro North. I've actually seen them not stand up rather than sit next to me because they feared me for whatever reason. Hold on. This is just talking about my commute to the city.
Who would fear you, man? Listen, you're the kindest motherfucker I ever seen in my life.
And exactly. That says a lot.
That means that there's a place in their mind.
No, there's a place in his mind that he read.
Oh my goodness.
I disagree.
Oh my goodness.
No.
Well,
Absolutely not. You know what I just experienced in Red Hook the other day. We've had a long conversation on that. That's a place in this person's mind that I sit in. They don't know me. Like I told that woman, you don't know me, lady. You are making assumptions about me. She sees me and she's making assumptions about me. These are facts. These are facts. Let me tell you this.
What were you doing? What were you doing that shit? You think if a white person was doing the same thing, she would just be happy? Like, oh, welcome to the neighborhood.
I think so.
But that you see what I'm saying?
So.
You're basing that off nothing. You're basing this off nothing.
No. Let me tell you. You think that when she sees me, she sees a person who's getting over, not a black man getting over?
Well, first of all, one of the people thought you were white in this thing.
I don't care. That's okay.
What I'm saying
that's okay. They could have been trolling. Let me tell you something like this. Very, very, very. Let me tell you something. When I walk these streets, when a white person sees me, the reality is what it is.
Well,
what
listen,
they see is a place in their mind that I rest in.
Elvis, you look tough. If I seen you walking as everybody, you look tough. You look a little nice. I wouldn't think he going. Yeah, I think he want to go walk into a spoken word. You got a little tougher aesthetic. So it has nothing to do with the color of your skin. I know it doesn't have to do with the color of my skin. It has everything to do with my swag, this so-called toughness that you talk about,
exactly. My energy. I get it.
Yeah, but it's not your color. And stop thinking everything is your color.
No, I never said it was my color.
That's how they get black people.
But you don't think that this? Wait. Are you telling me that when this woman sees me, she doesn't see black?
I can tell you, but honestly, I would think you was Hispanic of some sort.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You would.
Yeah.
You would, right?
Yeah.
You would. But there's a difference on how they will. And that's a reality that I've been dealing with all my life. I've been introduced as the nicest black guy you ever gonna meet. I've been introduced like that in parties. I've come to parties and people's like, he's the nicest black guy you're ever gonna meet.
That's a racist thing to say.
That's
racist.
No, but to me,
that's
your
racist. That's racist.
I've been introduced like that.
No, but he's not being oppressed. That's not racism.
No, that's oppression is different.
And I didn't feel it.
They're insulting you.
Yeah, they definitely are.
It's not oppressing you, but insulting you.
I've had someone walk up to me in a bar and ask me, where can I get some party favors? Randomly. Walked up to me in a bar.
All right, I've done that with white people with different party favors. I've done that with white people, and it's always the same looking white people. The white people with book bags, they always lanky. So what I'm saying is,
people, how many times do you think I gotta go into a bar and somebody's gonna say, "Yo, how you doing? Do you know where I can maybe get something?" That right there. What are you saying? That the lanky white guy goes through the same shit?
But he wouldn't go through the same shit. And he's a black man. He wouldn't go through the same shit. You got an aesthetic.
Let me tell you.
What you say? I got an aesthetic. It's my glasses. It's my shoes. It's my jacket.
No, it's your energy.
I'm walking in the bar with a meat coat, so I gotta have it, right?
It's
my energy.
I'm not saying that's it's not gonna color your skin.
No, I'm not even. Let me just say this.
That's what I'm trying to differentiate.
I don't want to get off.
I
don't want to get off something. Hold on.
Right, go ahead.
Please.
What I want to say is, it's easy when you're privileged and you're successful for you to sit there and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm happy to wait." No, I'm not saying you. I'm saying this guy, Matt.
Ulrich, you're privileged, Ulrich.
Matt,
stop it.
All I'm saying is Matt feels that it's okay because of what he has. It's easy when you have things.
He said he's happy his grandparents what they went through.
Yeah. Ancestors did what they did.
Did what they did. Whoa. What did they do?
Exactly.
I admit that I think Matt Walsh knew he was going to get this reaction when he said this thing. I'm not moving past that. I'm moving past, but part of this reason, and this is I'm not being a defender.
I gotta move in this way.
I'm not trying to.
Way.
Yeah.
Right here.
I'm not trying to be apologetic, but this is the reason.
An apologist.
I'm not trying to be an apologist. What I'm saying is, if I had to soapbox. I always try to avoid the soapbox. As black people, we need to learn to not be so reactive, man, and we need to learn to be checking them logic by logic. Not I think what happened is when we saw Matt Walsh, we saw white person, slavery, and incongruent.
That's not what I
can't talk it.
I listened to everything he said, and I tell you, when he first said, worldwide slavery," let me just tell you this. I watch a lot of sci-fi, right? Because what he's talking about is science fiction. Okay, let's just put it in a science fiction kind of way. We're gonna be able to end all slavery, and then he switched it. When he said end all slavery, I was like, "Yo, I get where he's coming from. Who can argue with that?" But then he switched it. And it became about himself. And that's why I say, Matt Walsh, F you. It was all about you and your little family and your little tree and your little world. And the last thing you want us to do is be angry anymore. The last thing you want us to do is stop walking in the room and stop feeling like everyone now wants to think I'm a drug dealer. He wants to start walking in the room.
See how personally y'all taking that shit?
No, but it happens. How many times it gotta happen?
When you're making a point, when we're making points on Premium Black News, we use ourselves in order to bolster our point and to use and to personalize it, to personalize what we're saying in order to bolster our point.
Right.
He used him. He's saying I think what he was speaking from is the belief the world will be a completely better, happy, completely giving, accepting, open place of slavery never existed.
I didn't hear him say that.
I'm saying
at all.
I didn't hear him
what
say
I'm saying,
that.
At all.
I think
we need to go play that again.
Bravo for slavery. Thank God.
My ancestors made it happen.
You should see these 4 cars I'm driving.
Exactly.
Yeah. You should see the 4 cars Matt Walsh is driving. I think he's saying bravo to slavery.
Mm-hmm.
No,
he wouldn't be in the position he's in if it wasn't for slavery.
He's saying that as a fact. He's saying that as a fact.
We don't know that. If it wasn't for slavery, we might have found out how to move out of this damn earth, get out of this dome, or whatever we're in. If we have all that, let's hypothetically get rid of all the wars. Let's hypothetically get rid of slavery. Wait, let me finish my thought. And my thought is this: what if we were able to get rid of all this crap? You know what'll happen? We'll be smarter. We'll be reading more.
Happy.
We'll be more like Stalin. What he said: the world doesn't need any more poets and artists. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. The world needs more poets. It needs more artists. It needs more creative people. And if we got rid of all these wars where young people are dying for no damn reason whatsoever, Gulf of Tonkin, that's what I'm saying. And there's more of that. Weapons of mass destruction, that's what I'm saying.
You're making his argument when you're speaking right now.
No,
That's what
no,
you're missing. You're making his
I'm
argument.
making my argument,
No,
and my argument is this. If none of these things existed, like the Gulf of Tonkin, like the weapons of mass destruction, this place might be an amazing place. We might be able to work together as a people, and we might be able to. We should have ships that are flying out of this.
You're speaking to what he's criticizing. You're literally speaking. This is what I'm saying. You're missing the point. You're missing the whole point. The specific point that he's making is where we got to now. Slavery was a part of to where we got to now.
Right.
If this wouldn't happen, we wouldn't have got to where we got to now.
No, he's talking about himself. He's not talking about everybody else.
He used himself to bolster a bigger point. You're missing the point.
He would've said
Wait, I want to stop. We're going to stop, and I want you to tell me the point that I'm missing.
The specific point that's being made is slavery. No matter what we say, not slavery that was a good thing.
Come on, you already moved it.
The point is not that. The point is that.
In the middle.
Yeah.
You're on your soapbox.
No. I want you to tell us the point you're missing. I want to know the point I'm missing.
It's a simple point. So the point is not that slavery was good. We should celebrate slavery. The point is where we don't know how much slavery contributed to where we are now and where we are where we are when it came to progress. We don't know the extent into how much slavery contributed to it. Therefore, when we talk about stuff like we have no idea where the world would be when we have no idea to say if slavery wasn't here, we would have been the most egalitarian society ever. We would have been arm in arm. And this is and he's not speaking for utopia, for a better society. He's saying that we're not understanding that all the bad things in society led to something else. So, all right, I hate to get all right, I'm sorry, I got to get biblical again. Mm-hmm. In the Bible, the story is about the humans being terrible to each other constantly and perpetually over and over and over and over again, and that was indicative of humans. So it's not to say that that's good, that's what led to progress. It's that humans are inevitably evil. Slavery is not a good thing. Slavery is taking advantage of and exploiting people. Slavery is not a good thing. The exploitation and evilness led to progress. Exploitation, and evilness, like evil medical experiments that lead to the positive medication that saves people in the future. That's the whole point. But what I'm saying is, what you didn't see is you saw a white person talking about slavery.
No.
This is what I'm talking about.
No.
This is my whole point is that.
I disagree. I didn't see a white person talk about slavery. I saw a person who's not being realistic. I see a person.
You're not being realistic.
I am being realistic.
You're not being. You're saying that slavery could have. You're talking about what could have been if there wasn't slavery. He's not saying. He's just saying what it's unreasonable to think that slavery slavery was part of the trajectory that led us to where we are now. That's not to say it was positive. That's just a fact of the trajectory. That's not to say it's good.
What you're saying is
we're going round and round right now.
Yeah. So what you're saying is something negative can make something positive.
Right? No, I'm saying something. Yeah, slavery was a negative thing.
Quantum physics. Wait, hold on. We have a. Eva Truth, quantum physics says that there may be a world where slavery never existed. Have you seen the movie Everything Everywhere? Oh, I want to see that with that Asian woman and the what's it called? The hermaphrodite chick. She won the award. Hermaphrodite chick. She won the award.
Can we have a name instead of just calling her hermaphrodite chick?
I don't know. I'm talking. I'm hitting her with an ad hominem. You know, I'm talking.
That's not even an attack. She's a bad.
She used to be like when she was born. They chopped off the wee wee, which I think they did a good job.
Talking about Hillary Swank?
No, I'm talking about the what's the chick that just won and the
I don't know what's happening in the Academy Awards.
She just won the Academy Award. It doesn't matter. Jamie Lee Curtis.
She was
Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, 100%. She was born with two, and they chopped off the wee wee, and I think they did the right thing.
I thought a hermaphrodite chick was a fine way to say it.
Yeah. Jamie Lee Curtis. Let me see. I got to see that though. We have to see that movie. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. It's still playing in the theaters here in New York. It's but they stop like around. It's like an early movie.
Yeah.
It's stopping like around 5 to 7, but it's doing really well that they're keeping the movie going.
And it's been out for a while too.
Yeah. All right, somebody said something about being pitiful. That's Asmith settings. And then somebody truth. Ulrich seems triggered by this topic. BS. Whites were enslaved too. Of course, whites were enslaved. We know that everywhere there was slavery. America is just the last of it, and the only place where
America wasn't
the
even the last
people.
of it. America was one of the first Western civilization that absolved slavery. The Great
Right,
Britain
right, right,
came
right, right.
after, man.
Yeah, it's
You
true.
know,
It's true. It's true. It's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right.
They are killing me with this
Yeah,
nonsense.
Daniel, not David. All right, Daniel did that. Daniel was the king who set that.
No, he was in the lion's den, but then
Yeah.
David was the one who
Yeah,
did Bathsheba and all the rest of them.
Right. Ulrich, I'll be darned for you to tell me what is and isn't my shared experience, or what does or doesn't affect me. Ulrich, you are being dismissive to people's past.
Every time I
That's
hear the
T.
word,
Riddler.
T. Riddler, when I hear the word dismissive, that tells me a lot about a person.
Okay. And then AKWB says, no, you need to stop, bro. They talking about you, Ulrich. Sorry. Someone says that they agree with Daniel. Someone says, wow, evening. T. Riddler, Ricardo Emmanuel, facts, Ulrich. Latasha, she's laughing. She's got her popcorn. And let me see, anything else? All right,
Anyway,
so
wait. I'd like to address being dismissive. So being contradictory is not being dismissive. Because I acknowledge I contradict your point. I acknowledge how you felt. Did I? I felt like I voiced what you felt. And I voiced your argument, and I just didn't agree with it, and I contradicted it. I don't dismiss your argument. I understand why you feel the way you feel, because you've been used and abused, man. You have been hoodwinked. You have been bamboozled.
oh
And,
right,
you know,
it's true. It's true. I mean,
you know,
I have. I know for a fact that I have. I've seen the effects of what has happened to me throughout my life coming up. You know, I wasn't always this big guy. I used to, I was a different person, and I know that there's a place in people's minds where we rest in their minds, and not as a person that's doing wrong, but as the black man who has to be doing wrong, who can't do right. And that's a lot of the problem. Thank goodness you haven't experienced this in your 30 years on this earth.
what haven't I experienced?
You haven't experienced where you're the black guy who has to be doing wrong.
What do you mean has
Are
to be
you-
doing wrong?
You're the black guy. You have to be doing
Well,
wrong.
I'll tell
You
well,
have to be dishonest. You have to be, not only are you dishonest, you're lazy. Not only are you lazy and dishonest, you're untrustworthy.
Well, I'll tell actually.
And then we could just keep going on and on and on.
I'll tell you so I went to from kindergarten to fourth grade. I went to a mostly white school, right? Mostly white school, and I was the most troubled kid in there. I was always acting up. They used to do this thing when you get in trouble. They put you in a younger class for a day.
Right.
Like they put you with if you're in fourth grade, they put you with 10th grade.
Yeah, they used to do that to my daughter in Catholic school. Yeah.
It's a jerky thing, but I say that to say, the two biggest teachers that were the meanest and rude to me was my black science teacher and my black principal.
I believe
They hated. If you went to this school and this was a white principal and you were like a black kid, you would think this person was racist. That's how mean and evil they were to me, and how much they thought I was a bad seed influencing. What I'm saying is
That's called institutional racism.
There's
a word for that.
I only say that. I mean, I was bad comparatively, but what I'm saying is, like, if I carried what I carried, and secondly, I grew up around Dominicans, right? No racism I ever felt more than from Dominicans ever. If I carried if I carried Dominicans to white, the white people would be carrying me on freaking chairs, and Dominicans would be spitting on me while calling me the N-word. If I compared how the racial,
treatment.
If I compared the treatment by experience, but if I colored my experience based on that, then I would be racist. I would think Dominicans are evil people. I would think old black women are evil witches.
Hold on for 1 second.
Yeah.
See, feels. I don't need you to acknowledge how people feel. I encourage you to acknowledge fact. What people experience is real. Not wise to tell people that they are or aren't experiencing. That's what I mean by dismissive. Damn, see, Field is got two accounts.
I got you. She feels. I know what you say. You want me to respond, or have I been talking too much? Or you want to talk?
No, no,
first?
you're not talking too much. You're talking great. Listen, let me just say this, guys. At Premium Black News, we're gonna get the experience of three black men and their realities. And sometimes we're in bubbles. Am I in the bubble that says to myself that if I go to a bar that's full with 95% white people, at some point someone's gonna want to know, do I have drugs? Someone's gonna want to say, Ulrich says maybe it's the fur coat you had on that night. You know? And the truth is, I haven't worn that fur coat that I wore the last episodes in 7 years. You know, I took it out of storage because I was like, let me put on the fur coat for the Premium Black News. But let me also tell you this. You know the doc? I was hanging out with the doc one day and they tried to put us both in the box. Was it because he was standing next to me that they wanted us to sell them drugs? And this is a guy who's a doctor. So I'm not the only one experiencing this. This stuff happens and this stuff is real. Elvis, did you get my Venmo yesterday? Yes, I did. And I saw that scene where the woman was a trans woman and the trans woman was like ripping up a sign. And you were saying, did I believe it was real or staged? And I would argue that that trans woman that was ripping up the sign is not in on it. She's not in on it. She didn't, no one told her what to do and how to do it. But no one, she was encouraged, I'm sure, to some degree and doesn't even know you see, the great thing about this system that we live in is that, oh, and thank you for the for the Venmo. I appreciate that. It was a scene where there was like this huge, like it was a play on Black Lives Matter, like a sign that says Black Lives Matter, but instead of Black Lives Matter, it says something to the effect of like I can't remember what it said, but it was a play on that.
Trans Lives Matter.
No, it wasn't trans, but a trans woman came and tried to rip up the sign. You know, like maybe it might have said Trump Lives Matter or something. I don't know what it said right at the moment. But I appreciate the people here at the Premium Black News. Send me more stuff to look at, and if we can fit it in the show, we will. And this trans woman with huge breasts looked like a regular woman, but sounded like straight up man. So that was the only way you could really tell. And she's like tearing up the sign, and then the police come and their community affairs police officers, they trying to calm the situation down, and she just was like going. And when I say sign, we're talking about someone spent $800 on this sign. It was like huge, like let's say 25 by 30. It was huge. They're taking up the whole sidewalk. So this trans person is screaming for trans violence. There's a new movement going on for trans violence. Are you guys aware of this? I talk about trans violence on my Coal in the Eye that I do in the mornings. My Coal in the Eye segments that I do in the morning, I talk about the trans violence and how the trans violence is a movement right now where trans people are stepping up, and they're stepping up with violence, bringing violence wherever they go to bring attention to them, because they're only like 0.02% of the population. It's very little bit of trans, and it's kind of sad that they're actually coming with this trans violence movement. So yes, is it staged? It is staged, but the people that are in it are unaware that they're being moved around like puppets, so to speak. But we're going to digress from that. And thank you for the Cash App. And anyone wants to send another Cash App, that's $ Elvis Rosenberg. And the Venmo is at Elvis-Rosenberg. Send me information so we can talk about it. We would like to do that. We want to do that more.
I want to see it for the next episode.
I don't know if we'll do that, but I'll show you guys. I'll show you it. I'll show you at the end of this. And maybe I'll leave a link in the description where you can find that too. And interesting enough, you didn't leave the link properly. I had to actually type up the link and to get the link, because it wouldn't go through on the Venmo. I appreciate you, Ulrich. I appreciate your stance. I see that you're 10 toes down on this. Matt Walsh is trying to, as far as what I get from what you, hear me out. What I'm getting from Ulrich is that Matt Walsh is just sick and tired of using slavery as a way to anchor us into feeling like we have this group of people that are here to destroy us, and it's never going to change. So he's talking about all that change that's being made is very bootstrappy. I look at Daniel B. Daniel B is coming from the aspects as like, who the hell does this guy think he is? We needed, if we could ever have a world where we can take a chance and just get rid of slavery, then that should be the subject. Let's get rid of it. Let's see what happens. Let's see what your life is like. You think that your life is going to be nothing? Sir, your life might be better. You might be living a greater life than the one you have now. And my argument is, if I see Matt Walsh on the street, I'm going to curse his ass out.
That's fair. That's you.
And there's a few people out there, when I see them, they're going to get the FU, they're going to get the middle finger. And I'm going to make them feel uncomfortable. Because, you know, I'm that guy. You made me like this. Wasn't I a young, little, sweet, skinny kid all my life? I was the nicest, sweetest kid. Help old ladies across the street and everything. They made an animal out of me.
The whites?
Well, when I was targeted as a young man, I was targeted by the police. I was made to be a criminal when I wasn't ever a criminal. I was the nicest guy in the world. Premium Black News, y'all. I'm Big Elvis and Chef Rosenberg.
I'm Ulrich.
I'm Daniel B.
And you are appreciated. And we love you. At least I do. I don't know about these two.
I like you.